Welcome to The Power of Culture. I'm Mayassa bint Hamad bin Khalifa Al Thani. My nation, Qatar, is on a creative journey, supporting the talents of a rising generation, reaching out to other countries through the arts and building an entire cultural infrastructure. In each episode of The Power of Culture, I'm joined by a leading artist or architect, philanthropist or museum professional who is part of Qatar's journey. Listen in as we discuss what the power of culture can do. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by the Chief Executive of the Doha Film Institute, Fatma Al Remaihi. Fatma, good afternoon. It's very nice to speak to you at this very historic moment, not just for Qatar hosting the World Cup, but also we have our first Qatari filmmaker nominated to the Oscars. Is that correct?
Yes, it's such an honor to be with you here, Sheikha. We're all very excited with all the big, important events.
Can you say a little bit about Majid Al Remaihi's journey and how, the filmmakers that have gone through the program from the Doha Film Institute have done so far?
Yeah, Majid is one example of many filmmakers that we've been working with for many years. That was started in workshops or seminars or in smaller settings. And then they've evolved. Majid has studied film and he has a very huge wealth of knowledge about filmmaking and history of film. So he is a unique filmmaker that started with us in workshops, and then he went in to do the documentary workshop with Riti Pan, one of the most important documentary filmmakers in the world, Oscar-winning filmmaker. And he discovered his voice through this workshop, and he made this film called And Then They Burned the Sea, which is kind of a true story of his life and his feelings and his depiction of the situation that he has with his family and specifically with his mother. A beautiful short documentary that went to many festivals around the world, that garnered many awards around the world. And the last festival he went to in Vienna, where he won the Best Short Film Award, automatically made it for him easy to be considered for the Oscars.
Thank you. And that reminds me a little bit about your journey. You almost fell into this industry by accident, right? You didn't study film,
Yes.
You didn't work in film, but you moved into the Doha Film Institute from the very beginning, I believe. And tell us a little bit about that journey of yours.
Yes, so I've enjoyed films all my life. Since very young age, I learned my English through films. And the type of films that I used to watch are when I was at that age, they had no internet, limited access to films, so only what we can see in the cinema or what we can see on TV. So any type of films that we saw, they're usually the blockbuster films, Hollywood, Bollywood, or Egyptian cinema. So it was still limited to what we can find and access. So in 2009, I was at my job on my desk and I saw on the newspaper a small article about a film festival being created in Qatar, with you, Sheikha, being the chairperson of this festival. And things moved very quickly. Within a week, I was seconded in the festival, and within the next 2 weeks, I traveled to New York for to attend the Tribeca Film Festival and learned from there. So it completely flipped my world upside down.
Yes, that was our very beginning. We started with the Doha Tribeca Film Festival. This was in 2009, and so much has changed in terms of the film scene since then. We now host 2 film festivals, Ajal and Qumra. Why don't you speak to our audiences about what these festivals do and how they engage the different audiences and what we offer? It's very interesting when you say that as a child you could only see blockbusters, because in our festivals we focus a lot on different genres and for sure not only blockbusters. So why don't you speak a little bit about the 2 festivals?
Yes, so we did move for a long, long time, and things change dramatically. When we were younger, we couldn't have access to these films, but we were really happy to say that since 2012, when the Ajal Film Festival started, we can say that kids from 8 years old, they watch independent international cinema, and not just watch it, they analyze it, they speak to the filmmakers and the talent, and then they vote for the films that moved them the most. So over the years, both of these annual events, Ajal and Qumra, have really established their own niche in the global industry. Ajal is one of the longest running film festivals in the region, and Qumra has really an unmatched record of bringing together talents from across the world and mentoring them under the watchful guidance of several accomplished film professionals and cinema luminaries from all over the world. These events have promoted the exchange of filmmaking resources and expert collaborations between nations and cultures, and we've seen the tremendous effects of both of them, Ajal on the youth and on the community, and the effect that it's even with parents and schools, how the perception of cinema completely changed from just an entertainment element to an educational, social change type of element. And that was fantastic to see firsthand. And with Qumra supporting films and filmmakers with first and second time new voices in cinema, giving them a platform and introducing them and launching them into the world through Qumra here in Doha. So both of events are niche. They're different from the other festivals around the world and events around the world. And they've garnered great reputations for Qatar's work in cinema.
Yes, we're celebrating 10 years this year. It's such a timely occasion with the World Cup, and everywhere I go, the people I see, they know about the Doha Film Institute and the work that you've done because of the different grants and mentorship that we've been able to provide to first and second time filmmakers from the region. Tell me a little bit more about the programs that as we celebrate 10 years of our Ajal festival.
So we already in October, we've celebrated the 10th edition of the Ajal Jury Experience. So the jurors, 615 of them from 50 countries have joined us and watched their slate of films, and they performed their jury duties, and they chose the films that are winning. Plus, we will have Gdom, the most popular pop culture event in Qatar, coming back, and Ajal Tunes, where we celebrate amazing songs and music with all the family.
That's really great. I mean, Dan Almir runs the program from Ajali Tunes, and she's done an incredible job, I think, with the program. How do you think the music industry has evolved in terms of supporting the film industry, given Ajali Tunes and the participation from the community?
I think music goes hand in hand with films. All the films that we've seen all of our lives, music plays a big role. It's almost a character in some of these films and TV. So, of course, having something like what Donna's doing, a grassroots, working with youth, giving people the platforms and the voices, it's very important because it's highlighting the talent that we have here in Qatar and bringing it to the world. And this is what we try to do in all of our programs, including Maiden Qatar films, including Gdom. We want to highlight the talent we have. We have so much talent and so much to offer. All of these talent only need the platform to shine and be exposed to everyone. So I'm really happy what Dana has done to this program, and it became a pillar of our festival now year after year.
And that's very interesting because it's Donnas Voice who sang at the FIFA Arab Games, isn't that correct?
Yes.
And it was really interesting.
She has a beautiful voice.
She has an amazing voice.
And her understanding also of the music and instruments and everything, it's so vast and amazing.
And the Ajal Film Festival also has, as you mentioned, an exhibition program. We opened in Taj. I think Khalifa curated the show. He's one of our filmmakers.
Yes.
I think he did an incredible job. You know, he brought in so many stakeholders together, and it was a interesting exhibition about the history of television in Qatar, which was quite rich. And for many, they probably will discover new facts. But we also have Geekdom.
Yes.
Tell the listeners a little bit more about what Gdom did or does, why it started, and how this is really supporting. It's like a hub now supporting small and medium businesses in the technology industry.
Yeah, so it started in 2012 with our first Ajal Film Festival. We wanted a theme for the festival, so we chose the theme of anime, the Japanese animation. And we had no idea what we're going to discover when we chose that theme. We discovered a whole hidden community underground of anime geeks and collectors and gamers and people who didn't really from at that time had a space where they can all come together and have this collective experience together without anybody looking at them in a strange way. We have fathers with their kids, we have grandfathers who come, we have the youth who come. Everybody who still feels like a child inside will come and enjoy. And it started as a small exhibition. The next year we were not going to do it because it was one-time theme. And then we were bombarded with messages on social media that you have to bring this back to the festival. And over the years, over the last 10 years, it became one of the main pillars. It grew so much. It became an economical also platform for artists and sellers and collectors. It became a space where they can all come together and discuss ideas together, and we see inventions come out of this. Many businesses has opened after Gdom started and flourished after it. It was really phenomenal to see how a small grassroots thing can grow to become something like this.
You know, as you know, we're working so diligently on the growth of the creative economy, which the UN predicts it to be 10% of global GDP. One of my favorite categories in the DHA Film Festival is the Maiden Qatar. And this was always in our program, even when we still had the Doha Tribeca Film Festival. It was always important for us to have homegrown filmmakers, and I think it has grown so much. And it's, in my opinion, it's one of the most popular screenings that we have. Talk a little bit about how the Maiden Qatar screenings take place and the connection between the DHA Film Festival and the Qumra Film Festival in that sense.
So Maiden Qatar, I think for us, even as professionals working in the industry or trying to grow the industry in Qatar, it became kind of a measure of the development of the industry year after year. And everybody who attend will see the difference in the films from the first year until now after 12 years, and the jump that happened and the development that happened in this sector here. It's really amazing to see the level and quality and production quality, storytelling merits of these filmmakers over the years. And honestly, we take a group of films every year after we show it in Ajyal, and it tours the world and it gets submitted to festivals and it gets into competitions. It's been really fantastic to see this development, and I truly believe that our filmmakers now are completely ready for the next stage of their careers with long format films and feature films. So it's a pillar. It's what connecting Ajyal and Qumra, Maiden Qatar, all of our programs, we've created an ecosystem for filmmakers where basically they can plug into any level or any different program that they want, whether they're just starting from scratch, whether they already have some short films that they've done or written ideas, whether they want to actually go into filmmaking, seriously and start working on their features. Everything is connected. So during the year, we also have grants that we open twice a year, and we grant films from mainly the Arab region and the MENA region from Qatar, and a little bit in the post-production is open for outside the region. But these films, we continue working with them over the year. They come in Qumra, where they can be developed more, or they can be discovered by different festivals and sales agents in kind of like a film market setting. But also when they're finished and they're showcased around the world, they can also come back and be shown in Ajyal. These filmmakers can also help us with educational programs that we offer over the year. So everything that we do is really connected, and you see touch points in each of these programs that filmmakers can go through over their career.
And as the CEO of the Doha Film Institute, what would you say the biggest successes have been so far and the milestones achieved in the Institute's strategy? And what are you most proud of?
Wow. It's really been a rewarding experience for me as CEO of the Doha Film Institute to meet, interact with some of the finest creative talent in the world of cinema, especially to see the bold new energy of women in film in the Arab world and beyond. I can honestly say that there's a much larger percentage of female filmmakers in our country and the wider Arab region than the rest of the world. We have an impressive slate of achievements driven by our approach in creating original content in Qatar, as well as promoting independent voices globally. The Institute, as you know, Sheikha, is the first Arab organization to score 10 Oscar nominations for 7 consecutive years. This is an unprecedented achievement in our world that really has helped position DFI as a dynamic cultural entity for global storytelling. I'm also really particularly proud of the film ecosystem that we have created here in Qatar. Our initiatives are strengthening Qatar's cultural legacy and taking Qatar to the world through cinema and through these stories and creativity of our emerging talent. And Qatari stories, I'm most proud of Qatari stories that are reaching global audiences in more than 60 leading international festivals across 4 continents with their films, like Majid's film, like Maryam Masrawa's film, like Amal Miftah film, and so many other examples.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations, really. I mean, to have 10 Oscar nominations, we've had them almost every year, and we've had some winners, and that says a lot about the Institute's role in supporting Arab cinema, regional cinema, and really, I know that our goal is to support the regional content, to have our own voice, our own identity from the very beginning. And unlike other organizations, I would say, I think the Doha Film Institute has been very consistent in its strategy. And now we're seeing these fruits. I want to go to another project which the Doha Film Institute led on behalf of the Qatar Museums in terms of the films that we commissioned for the National Museum of Qatar. I think that was a very interesting partnership between 2 cultural institutions that allowed for young filmmakers to be mentored and learn from international film directors. Talk a little bit about that experience, about the National Museum films that we commissioned the DFI to do.
Yeah, for me, this is like the crown jewel of what the Doha Film Institute has done in recent years. It was a huge undertaking, but such an exciting project to work on. The museum, the building, the thinking behind it, the idea behind it, the exhibitions, the story it's telling. It was such a profound experience to work with all of these filmmakers from all over the world, introduce them to our talent here, make sure that our talent are learning as much as possible from these big productions. These are the biggest productions that came through Qatar. And the amazing thing about these productions is that they became catalyst for the whole sector, the whole industry here in Qatar, and so many other industries that are affected by filmmaking. So bringing these productions here in Qatar has touched on other sectors and other industries, and it was fantastic for the private sector, for small businesses, for medium businesses that we worked with to achieve these films. As you know, Sheikha, filmmaking will need so many things: set design, decoration, makeup, artists, all other things that films can touch. And it was such an amazing experience. 6 years, the whole industry was mobilized here for these films. And the results, these amazing pieces of arts, not just films, they're pieces of arts hanging on the walls of the museum. I've gained so much experience from this project, and I know a lot of our filmmakers and interns have gained so much experience. And it's fantastic to see it, and now have everyone who goes through the museum from all over the world experience the history of Qatar through these.
Yeah, I know. I remember how challenging it was for us to create these films with the walls that the museum created, given the desert roads. But it's
a whole software was invented for the projections, the camera positions. Everything was very unique and made just for this project.
It's very inspiring for me to see these young filmmakers who started their journey as interns working and are now creating their own films and being traveled all around the world. but also this ecosystem that's being created that allows artists in different disciplines to support each other. I mean, going back to Intaj, the exhibition we just opened, I think it's really incredible how Khalifa, the curator Al Thani, who's at the DFI, borrowed works from our future museum, the Lusail Museum. That's where DFI will also be part of once we start breaking ground. And so it shows that within our long-term strategy, everything now is coming together, and the artists and the creatives and the gallerists and today we have a few galleries that sell art, but they also work with filmmakers. We also have production houses for film. So I think it enables the ecosystem and the industry as a whole to grow, which is really promising. So it's really great news.
And it's all under your guidance, Sheikha, and your vision. And honestly, I have to say, in so many situations, your inspiration and your spirit. I remember the day we had to cancel Qumrah when the pandemic first started. It was 2 weeks before Qumrah, and I always tell the story because we all felt so bad that it's 2 weeks away and we had to cancel it. All the filmmakers will lose this opportunity to benefit from this event. And you just told me, Fatma, just do it online. And we did, and it was fantastic. So it was really in this situation when you have someone with a vision that can open your eyes to different ideas, it makes our work so much easier and so much enjoyable. So thank you for all of your efforts with us.
No, I see we're all one team, and everyone's work inspires me to work harder and push the efforts further because, in this industry, we will face challenges. And I think the most important thing is that we tell our stories and share them with the rest of the world. I want to go back to the film industry in the Middle East as a potential platform to foster conversations amongst audiences and talking to them about topics that are real. I mean, I always remember, and I tell the story, I met when Moza Al-Hajri, who's now represents Qatar internationally and locally in domestic debates, she was one of the Ajali jurors, and we were showing films of different topics, and she came to me and she said, I want harder topics. I want us to discuss really challenging ideas. How do you see the film industry's role in terms of fostering these conversations, building awareness about the world around us to our very international audience?
I think, the main role and the primary role of the film industry is to tell our stories to the world. And as they say, if you don't tell your story, somebody else will say it, and it might not be the true, or you might not like it. That's why it was, for us, we were focusing on creating our own independent voices in cinema that will communicate our heritage and identity to a global audience, and then also present us as we are, who we are. And it's about breaking away from the stereotypes and taking our story and authentic stories to the world. It's very encouraging to see also more audiences from around the world being exposed to the cinema from the Middle East region. And it's very important for us because the way we do it is that we use our emotions. We tell our stories honestly. And the world needs to, it's about time for the world to learn our stories and know it. And so it's very important for especially a region like this, who is misunderstood and misrepresented and most of the time. And we have now a tool, a way that we've made accessible for all filmmakers from the region and anyone who wants to tell a story to come and use it to tell that story. So for us, it's not just a good to have, it's an essential thing in our life now to be able to be understood better and accepted better from around the world.
Fatma, you spoke about your love of Bollywood films growing up, and maybe because that's what we could see when we were younger on TV. I remember every Thursday we watched a Bollywood movie. And I think you mentioned how that the Middle Eastern cinema has found large audiences in parts of Asia, such as China. What experiences do you think the Asian communities that are here have with the Middle East? I remember the first few years when we had the film festival, we always had a Filipino filmmaker who lived in Qatar, and he made amazing films. And because we have a large community from the Philippines, we would have to screen it a few times in order to supply the demand of tickets for that screening.
Yes.
So
true.
say a little bit more about, Bollywood, your love of it, and the Asian communities that live in Qatar and how they're engaging with our film festival and Middle Eastern films.
I think we all share a common denominator, which is the power of emotions, and that we're not hesitant or fearful to express them. The music, the songs, emotional contours of cinema from Asia. We all share these things, the human aspects of storytelling that's strong in values and strong in traditions. Our films have traditionally looked up to stories from the East, in particular Bollywood, which we all have watched, like you said, when we were kids. But what we see today is a new wave of independent filmmaking where our young talents are pushing their boundaries to present these compelling stories that are rooted in our realities and our culture. So we share a lot of things with the Asian communities, and especially the Asian communities who live in Doha, who've gone through all of the festivals that we've done. We've always been happy to cater for them and cater for their sense of film style and what they love to see. Even in the Afghani camp here in Doha, when we wanted to showcase films for the kids, and we took to them, films from Disney and youth films, the kids came to us and they said, no, we want to watch Afghani films. So we had to change our programming and bring for them Afghani films. So we always have to listen also to the communities that we live in Qatar to bring all of them closer to us, and we can work together and do things together through these programs and through these films.
And we're bringing a Bollywood musical for the very first time, Monsoon Wedding. Yes. I mean, it's not Bollywood, but it is about India. And Mira Nair has worked with us on a number of occasions. So this is really an exciting time for her. She's launching it here in Qatar. So I wanted to ask you a question about how you saw the role of filmmaking play in education. I know we spoke a lot about working with schools, specifically public schools, in terms of allowing subjects of film to be taught and skills of filmmaking. How do you see this possibility moving forward?
It's very important. A lot of people, they misunderstand cinema as entertainment only, but what we have shown over the years that cinema has so many aspects and it affects our lives in so many ways. And education is definitely a part of it. How much we learn from documentaries, from other people's stories, and how much it affects us and how much it makes us actually want to get out of our seats and want to do something. We've seen this over and over and over again. It's a great medium for understanding. It's a great medium for social change. And this is what we want to instill in the young generation from the very beginning. And that's why Ajal was created and it exists, is to instill this importance of cinema in their lives and how they can always use it as a tool. We've seen so many jurors that were affected by stories they watched in Ajal, and they become filmmakers themselves to tell the story of their community. And we've seen many filmmakers, for example, this year, one of our jurors who talked about now going to study law because of the films she saw, because how it affected her, because she wanted to make change in other people's lives. She wants now to study law to be able to do that. So it's an essential part of what we try to expose people to, and especially parents, because it took us some time to convince them that this is not just a waste of time to watch a movie in the cinema. There's so much aspects to your kids' character and understanding and mind and progress that can happen from watching a film and discussing it and opening our eyes to these films that are changing laws, changing the way we live in so many places in the world. So it's definitely an amazing educational tool that I hope also to see it more and more used in schools, which we do work with a lot of schools right now, and they're open for it, and they believe more and more of the importance of it, because especially our kids now and our youth, they're used to this medium all day on their phones, with TikTok, with Instagram, with all of these social media elements, with YouTube. It's available and it's there. But how can you guide them to use it in a better way?
Yeah, we collaborated with TikTok in our last film festival, correct?
Yes, so we collaborated with them. We launched a short film festival with them.
And the Agile Film Festival, actually, we got the inspiration from the Gifoni Film Festival in Italy. And each year, I believe, we send people to Gifoni to participate in the Youth Film Festival there, correct?
It's, I think now they're in their 55th year. So it's a very long-lasting film festival that has an amazing vision. And they have 5,000 jurors from around the world and from Italy. And every year, our best jurors, they will go there and have this experience. It's honestly unforgettable for them, and it affects a lot their growth and their lives. And when they go there, they become our programmers. The films that they like, they tell us, we really like this film. You have to bring it to Agile, and other jurors should watch it. And we listen to them, and we bring the films.
And I think that's what is the most powerful, that a lot of it becomes driven by them for their peers and the youth in the community. I know that a lot of children or jurors, when they come to me, they're so excited because they meet children from other schools during the festival, and they build new friendships and understanding amongst our community. So it's really very powerful. You mentioned something earlier that I think is really interesting. It's the overlap between film and music, but also film and theater, film and costume design, film and makeup. This is all the ecosystem of the creative industry that happens naturally when you develop a film industry. I know that we've in the past worked with the Qatar Philharmonic Orchestra to stage films with music. Yes. And say a little bit more about those experiences.
Yeah, I think the experiences that you can bring in a setting of a film festival, where you can have an outdoor screening of a silent black and white movie with a live music from the Qatar Philharmonic Orchestra. It's one of those experiences that you will never forget in your life. We try as much as we can in the festival to bring these experiences. During the pandemic, we've created the drive-in cinema, which we talked about for years, but then the pandemic pushed us to do it. And it was one of the most successful programs over the years in DFI that people loved and enjoyed. So blending different elements and bringing different activations with the films that we show, it also continues on the story of making the film and how different elements also blended in the film itself, and how many sectors and how many industries and many creatives need to mobilize. It takes a village to make a film, and I'm really happy that we can see this in Doha.
Yes, thank you, Fatma. I think this is a really nice way to conclude our conversation with one of the projects that I really love, that we produced at DFI with all the filmmakers in the community. I believe it was called Dari Qatar, and It was during the blockade, maybe?
It was before the blockade. We initiated before the blockade, and it came out during the blockade. But it was perfect timing.
It was also a really beautiful moment to celebrate everything this country has and offers, and all the people that make up the community. So it's a very exciting time. Thank you for everything that you're doing and leading a film industry. I always say Fatma's every filmmaker's mother. You take care of them like they're your own children, and now they've all grown to become independent and creating their own stories and narratives and representing Qatar worldwide. So congratulations to you and your team, and thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Sheikha. It was really an honor to have this conversation with you, and an honor to celebrate all of these successes with you.
Thank you, Fatma. Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
Thank you, you too. Bye-bye.